The story you're about to hear belongs to a YWCA Yakima client. Details have been edited to protect our client's privacy. Though it saddens us to not be able to show you who she is, we applaud her for her courage for wanting to share her story today.
I met my abuser when I was very young. Although I didn't become close with him until much later in life, I had very low self-esteem and he was quite a bit older than me. On the outside, he seemed like everything a person should be, yet behind closed doors, he would say and do horrible things that made my child and I afraid. Throughout our relationship, I experienced physical, emotional, verbal, mental, financial, spiritual, and sexual abuse. For years, I believed the lie that there was something wrong with me and that everything was my fault. But what hurt the most was seeing him manipulate and hurt our child. He kept our finances separate. I never knew where our money was going. He would let our utilities go unpaid and then get angry and yell at me for not paying the bills he chose to be responsible for. I still remember the day our water was shut off, and of course, it was my fault. He would get so angry. He would threaten to hurt my dog and would throw things and break them, and worse, he would threaten to take our child and never come back. He eventually had me quit my job and work for him. He controlled my pay, my hours, and my advancement opportunities. In my case, the worst part, and what seems to be common among others in similar situations, was the isolation. My support was very limited due to the isolation my abuser created in my life. My friends were also his friends. He was so good at creating narratives that painted a picture depicting him as a victim, until one day he took things too far. That day I realized that if I didn't say something, he would very likely kill me, our child, and possibly himself. I made the choice to file a police report. I hated having to do it, and I didn't think anyone would even believe me, let alone do anything to stop him. I just needed someone to know in case he really did kill us. I wanted my family to know the truth. Thankfully, he was arrested. I got a protection order that day and have been fighting ever since. The biggest blessing to me and my child was the YWCA and the safety and security they provided. The staff helped us feel loved, heard, and worthy. When others turned their backs, the YWCA stood with open arms and open hearts. The support groups were extremely helpful in helping me understand what abuse was in all its forms, how to create healthy boundaries, and help me to see that I wasn't alone in my experience. I am grateful for the advocates who were able to explain to my child what was going on in a way that was age appropriate. There are so many holes in the system and society, which make it difficult for victims to even have a chance against an abuser. I am so grateful for the YWCA for being a place where victims are truly given the help they need. I tell my story despite my fight not being over. I tell my story for those who can't, for those whose voices were never believed, for those whose lives were cut short without justice, without protection. Their cries will echo inside my heart forever. Today I use the voice I have been blessed with to thank God for the YWCA, for helping me and my child get away from abuse and to speak the truth. I pray that others will rise with me because domestic violence often goes unseen. In fact, it's often the last person you would think is being abused. I am grateful that I had the opportunity to share my story with you today. At one point in this journey, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make it to today. Thank you for supporting the YWCA.